Go, go, go.
Hello, everybody. I am here with Mr. John Scanlon, the founder of the Irish Hypnotherapy Conference and a trainer, an Irish hypnotherapist and a trainer as well. John, very nice to have you here. Nice to spend time and talk with you. Tell me this. First things first, why did you start the Irish Hypnotherapy Conference?
I sometimes ask myself that question quite a lot. Um, it's actually really, I mean, it's very simple. I sat in London a couple of years ago. I think it was November 22. And I think I was probably one of two Irish people at the whole conference convention. And I was just talking with a few friends of mine, and I just said, why isn't there one of those in Dublin? And I kind of went, yeah, why isn't there? And when I sat and thought about it, it's like, okay, there's 300 hypnotherapists gathered here. There's people connecting. That doesn't happen at home. That means there's people sitting at home who aren't connected to the local hypnotherapist in their town, the next city, whatever. They don't really know each other. They might occasionally meet at something or another or have met at training and just dropped out of contact. And I mean, that was the same for me. So it was kind of like that became the starting point. And the other side of it, Andy, is I felt that Ireland needed, there was a lot more information about hypnotherapy in the outside world than there was in Ireland. And I felt it needed to be brought back to here so that
Yeah.
people could actually experience it, not just see it on a YouTube or, on a training course. And a lot of people didn't even know it existed. So it was about actually bringing it to Dublin so people could experience it firsthand.
Yeah. So whenever I remember we met at the first Irish Hypnotherapy
Yeah,
Conference all those years ago. Um,
it's only three actually, if you think about it.
But I looked a lot younger back then. So,
So did I, yeah. So
so
did I, but let's not go there.
no, let's not go there. Anyway, let's not go there. But yeah, so whenever I met you back in Arklow, um,
Yeah.
those few years ago, it was interesting to me how the community just happened to be there. It was like all of a sudden, people got together, but within I'd say the first half day, there were friends there.
Yeah, I mean, Arklow was fantastic, and it was the first one. And I want to thank everybody who came because a lot of people didn't know who I was, and then suddenly they're all there. Yes, it was on the back of bigger names that were speaking and all that, but I mean, there was a lot of phone calls, there was a lot of emails out reaching out to people, and people took a chance and they came, and I'm really grateful for that because what it did was not only make the event, I suppose, what the stepping stone to what it is today, where it is actually one of the largest in Europe. It's the second largest behind Britain.
Hmm.
And that's not even in the EU. So therefore, we're actually largest in the EU. So there
Yeah,
you go. You
yep,
take
there
that.
you go. Yep.
But the other side of it is, like, yourself as a hypnotherapist, that when you work with clients, you get results fairly quickly, right? And I've had them in the therapy room where people have been there, and after 2 and 3 sessions, they're dealing with stuff that they wouldn't even touch in psychotherapy that they'd spend years in because they feel comfortable, they feel safe enough to do it, and they know the tools and techniques allow hypnotherapy to help. So behind all of that sense of learning and of connecting is that vision to allow hypnotherapy to grow.
Hmm.
But it needed a stronger platform from behind that because it is probably the best form of therapy that's out there,
Yep.
at least in my opinion.
Well, in mine
Um,
too. Yeah.
and the idea of the conference is to, if you like, almost become the flagship event every year that celebrates all the good in hypnotherapy and the best speakers, coming from all over the world. And you think about this year, there's people like Melissa Tears coming from the
Yeah.
States who 2 years ago I wouldn't even thought would happen. And it's about, sharing that great set of skills and knowledge that people have, bringing it to Ireland, and then for the therapists to use that to expand hypnotherapy as a tool that allows people to help, allows people to, I suppose, as Freddie Jackson would say, live the life they want.
Yeah,
with the
I do.
tools that they have.
With the two,
So,
yeah, yeah, I get that. And Freddie obviously was there the first year,
yeah,
and Carl was there obviously. One thing I would say from me, because obviously, if I'm a shy and retiring sort, as you know,
of
and
course, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I
no,
would never think otherwise.
no, shy, retiring, introverted young soul.
Yeah,
But one of the things I've mentioned lately is whenever I came down to Arklow, I drove down that morning from Belfast, and I remember sitting in the McDonald's car park. I got myself a really healthy, nutritious breakfast of double egg McMuffin and coffee or something
yeah,
like that.
of course, absolutely.
But, and I'm talking now, from a place of, my personal experience was I sat in the car park of the hotel and I was like, can I go in here? What am I getting into? And you know what? I am so glad that I just did it because as soon as I walked in, I met the most welcoming people, right? And it was very much a case of like I think Freddie and Carl were two of the first people that I met in that room. And it was just all of a sudden they were just like, hello. Hi. They were just really, really sound, decent people. And, all of a sudden, any fear or nervousness I had just evaporated. And one of the things that I noticed, and you'll have noticed this in me probably as well, and I have you to thank for this ultimately, was the confidence that I had in my own practice grew exponentially, you know? And that's something that I want to put across to people who haven't attended yet or maybe want to attend is like it's such a powerful thing. Like hypnosis itself is a powerful tool, but not sharing it and not using it is, as Freddie would say, almost doing a disservice to people, you know?
Yeah, well, I
And
tend to agree.
yeah,
Um, and like for me, I work a lot with functional neurological disorder.
you do.
Why? Because hypnosis works and nothing else pretty much works.
Yep.
So it gives hypnosis a fairly good reputation and a basis on which to grow from.
Yep.
Um, you know, because, but it is all about expanding the skill set and people's own, not just their technical skills, but also their personal skills.
Yeah.
Because even what we did in Larne a couple of weeks ago, where people are presenting in front of 35 or 40 people, it's starting to give a platform where people can actually do that on a larger scale.
Yeah.
I mean, the interesting thing, and I think there was 11 of us in Las Vegas last year, from Ireland, and it was my second or third time there, but for the others, it was their first time. And they suddenly were able to see that behind the razzmatazz, Irish hypnotherapists were as good as anyone else.
Yeah.
The stuff that we used, but it was the having the confidence to go outside it and use it,
Yeah.
and that's really what the conference is designed to do. And the Zooms, like even what the Zoom that we did on Monday night,
Yeah.
is designed for people to come out. It's designed for people to promote their own skills. It's designed for people to connect and to, you know, because ultimately, what is hypnotherapy? Like, if you're a hypnotherapist, what are you? Yes, you're a therapist. Yes, you're a healer if you want to go down that road, an emotional healer. You're also a business.
Yeah.
And there's that whole side of it that I suppose is never really dealt with well in training.
Hmm.
And the conference is actually designed to give everybody the complete set of skills.
Yeah.
Because as a hypnotherapist, and I don't want to go off on a business tangent, but we've got to face facts. You are not only a therapist, you are a business.
Yeah.
You have got to market because you keep rotating clients over and over again because you work so well.
Hmm.
And you've got to do your taxes, you've got to do all that stuff that you got to do. So like there needs to be systems and procedures in place, but the conference would give people that space where they can actually learn that and connect
Yeah.
so that they can actually get the resources that they need.
Yeah.
um
And
so
speaking to other people, because obviously I've been doing some interviews for the so that people can meet the presenters that you've organized.
mm,
And some of the most important things that have come out of those is that you get to meet other people and you realize that, oh, actually, I can learn something from them. And it doesn't necessarily mean a new technique or a new protocol or a new whatever. It's, oh, right. Or maybe you can go, well, I do that a bit better, or do you know what, I'm doing all right. It gives validation that you're doing well and validation to the fact that what you're doing matters. And it's very important to meet other people because then you can stay in touch with them. And if you have a query about something, like we've had this where I've rung you going, I've got this inquiry and I'm not 100% sure. What about, and you bounce ideas off people because
Yeah,
it's like Cormac Colleran, who I was speaking to this morning, he says it's very lonely job potentially because you're or profession because you're on your own, you're working with people who have
yeah,
issues. It's very important to expand that out so that you can have people to bounce off and have that engagement yourself, and not release it,
absolutely,
and that's
absolutely.
what you've done with what you've created. So I think a lot of us owe a debt of gratitude for that, and I know you'll hate that. Look at the face on John now. He's going, no, 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 but no, that's
Yeah.
that's genuine. I mean that. So
Well, I
yeah,
suppose one of the, and I know it's something that I will deal with at the conference this year. Um, and it was kind of the Sunday on the Sunday evening with 150 people in the room. As we were winding down
yeah,
last April, and I just thought to myself, okay, there's 150 people in this room, and most people would have been, working with clients. They're working with clients on a continuous basis. So I'm going to give you a really understated number, but just say for a moment that every therapist in that room dealt with 100 people during the year and helped them. That's 15,000 people.
yeah,
That's 15,000 workplaces, 15,000 families. The ripple effects of what happens at the conference is huge because you're learning that you're not on your own. You're learning there's a support network there that exists, which is probably one of the reasons why, 90, I think it's 90% of people who train as hypnotherapists don't practice it.
yeah,
Why? Because the supports were never in place for people after they finished. They were just left on their own.
yeah,
Um, and that's no disrespect to any trainers, but that's pretty much the way I understood it to be and the way I experienced it myself.
yeah.
So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
but there's a community there now. So there is a support network
Mhm.
of peers who want to help you, peers who want to support you, peers who want to engage with you and discuss topics that are relevant to them and
Yeah.
you, peers who just shoot the breeze with you on hypnosis.
Yeah. And it's something that above all else, all those things are valid and that's exactly what it's for. But, one of the things that I've enjoyed with it is it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of
Yeah,
crack because
of
you get
course.
in a room with a lot of hypnotists, not that misbehave is the right word, but we enjoy ourselves and we know we have skills where we can do things for fun. And it's one of those things that for me, I personally just want to reiterate the fact that whenever it comes to people thinking about coming, it's very important to say if you don't come, you're almost doing yourself a disservice because you're not getting the opportunity to realize, oh, I can do this. I am doing this right. And then getting yourself out more because you said it before we came on this interview was that, if you're not doing it, less people are being looked at. Like you mentioned, 15,000 people. If there were a load more people came, and all of a sudden there's like 30,000 people, 40,000 people that are being helped, realistically, it becomes more mainstream. Then it's better for
Becomes a movement.
everybody.
Becomes a movement.
You know?
And I don't really want to be controversial with this, but I did say this to a few people last week. If if you already know everything, and if you don't want to be challenged, then don't come.
Yeah,
If you feel like you're supported enough in your own networks, you don't need to come.
yeah,
Fine.
yeah,
But if you don't know everything, if you feel that you could, be part of a wider hypnotherapy community, learn, and as you said, have a bit of fun. I mean, Paul Draper is there on the Saturday night,
yeah, yeah,
and world class stage mentalist from Las Vegas. So that show is going to be live on Saturday night. You know, have a bit of fun, have a bit of crack on the Friday and on the Sunday evening, and just connect with people beyond that, not just there. If that's what you want, absolutely, this is the place for you. But
yeah.
if that's not what you need, if you already know everything, and if you feel like some of this might actually challenge you, then and you're not comfortable with that, then don't come.
that's okay. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
But
okay.
we will support anybody who comes.
Yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
it's about.
That is exactly what it's
Um,
about.
because and I suppose I'm watching time for you now as well. But on this one, like when I arrived at the conference in April, it had been a fairly hectic couple of months in the run up to getting everything done, form practice, all that stuff. But it was the sense of seeing 4 and 5 people in reception as I walked in the door, and that immediate feeling of being home. And
Yeah,
all weekend, that sense of community that existed, that sense of family.
yeah,
Um, and I've experienced that in Las Vegas, not to the same extent. In Dublin, it's special.
mhm.
It is that there's a closeness. Maybe it's an Irish thing, I don't know. But people were coming from all over the world. To be fair, there's 11 countries represented, and there was, I think, 12 countries attended last year in
Yeah,
terms of people from various countries. So,
yeah. No, I don't know that, and that's been represented in people too. You know.
and even there, it's a community for those people who've never been there before, and they all felt it too. So, and hypnotherapy only wins from that. And
Correct.
as long as hypnotherapy wins, then both the public will win and so will the therapists.
Yep.
So it's win-win for everybody, and that's ultimately where I wanted to take hypnotherapy in Ireland,
Yeah.
um, so that more people benefit. But it is built on learning, connecting, community, and supporting all the hypnotherapists around Ireland to be, I suppose, the best that they can be. Just to bring the best to them, it's up to them whether they choose to take it or not.
Well, that's it. And on that note, sir, I think that's a perfect place to bounce off
There
because
you go.
that is succinct and to the point. And I thank you very much for your time.
I thank you, and I look forward to an amazing conference 2026.
Yes, me too. Thank you for your time, John.
Be good.
All the best.